Chromium pick and blood sugar regulation. Hello, you guys. Most of you guys that know me have heard me talk about chromium picolinate for many years. It's something that I put in our shakes, it's something that we take on a daily basis, and for good reason. So I'll try to explain that a little bit here. Our chromium is an essential nutrient for lipid and carbohydrate metabolism. There was a 22, I love meta-analysis, as you guys know, there was 22 studies showed that monopicolinate and combined therapies of picolinate and vitamin C and vitamin E significantly improved glycemic control. It also significantly improved triglycerides, HDL, with chromium pick, especially as a monotherapy. So just chromium picolinate alone can do great things, and they suggest, that's at 200 micrograms and more. For me, my family and I split it up because I opened the capsule, I put it in shakes and other things. We take approximately 1,000 micrograms a day, and you'll see that when you do some of your study that way back in 1940, people got it naturally. They got up anywhere from 200 micrograms a day to 1,000. Right now it's so minimal. It's probably less than 5 micrograms a day if we're lucky. So it's something that's got to be targeted, and something that, especially with vanadium, can do a great deal for people suffering with diabetes and just blood sugar regulation and things like that. So it's got a very safe profile. It's very inexpensive. The body excretes the chrome rapidly, especially when you get a high sugar diet with sodas and even apple juice, even the great stuff like honey and whatnot. The body will excrete that, so supplementation is pretty critical. And they say that about 90% of all Americans, and I assume most around the world, because China and elsewhere is suffering major, significant diabetes as well. So it's a big deal worldwide. So it's something that should be sought out. Bemidji State University, as I've shared in a couple videos before, a lifespan of lab animals increased 33.3% just with chromium pick supplementation. Can you imagine that? I get kind of, as far as the spiritual part of it, people always say, well, you just never know when God's going to take you or whatever else. Well, actually you do, because there's study after study after study, after decades, after centuries of science that shows, and history that shows, that when you take care of yourself, you're likely to live a whole lot longer. That's why all these places from Okinawa to Sardinia to Lima Loma, California to Costa Rica, these folks are living well past 100 years, oftentimes, with a great ratio of living past 100 years. And that isn't because they just don't know, it's because they eat properly. And there are certain things that allow us to do that. So we have a great deal to say about our longevity. So anyway, that's a pretty big deal. With just one simple chromium pick supplementation shown in lab animals, that it increases longevity 33.3%. Wow. That should be worth a trillion, but of course, and it would be if they could patent it, but they can't. So anyway, some of the deficiency diseases, and we'll put it to a close here shortly after that, to listen carefully. This is pretty lengthy, I'll try to do it quickly. Low blood sugar, prediabetes, diabetes, adult onset type 2, hyperinsulinemia, hyperactivity, learning disabilities, ADHD, ADD, hyperirritability, depression, manic depression, bipolar disease, and anxiety attacks. Let me go back to bipolar disease. As many of you know that I was diagnosed with that, and I was taking drugs for that 20 years ago when I changed my diet and I started juicing and everything like that. All those symptoms went away, and I did not take any more medications for that either. That was 20 years ago, and I've never turned back. So there are many things that can be done. Panic attacks, impaired growth, peripheral neuropathy, negative nitrogen balance, elevated triglycerides, blood cholesterol, coronary blood vessel disease, aortic cholesterol plaque, infertility, decreased sperm count, shortened lifespan. And of course, this book here in that study, shortened lifespan, pretty clear. So hopefully that helps somebody. For me, again, we take chromium pick. I don't have any particular brand that I like. I like the capsules just because I can open them up and break them into shakes and whatever else that we're eating, including rice. I'll put it right in rice, actually. So you rice eaters, that's can be a pretty big deal. Once you boil up the rice, it's all right in rice, you don't even know it. So hopefully that's helpful for a few of you folks, and get on it. It's real cheap, it's real easy to do, and healthy. Thank you. See ya.